This is a Lab 3 video walkthrough. I've written a simple lab to illustrate the basic requirements that we need. You'll see that I have my two class files. The Java course are my code. I have my Lab3B Jones, which is my application class, and I have my salesperson class, which is my object class. So let me go ahead and run this. And I have just a little bit of ASCII at the top there. You could probably do a better job than that. But I have my options. I can add, delete, or change a record, or quit. So the first thing to note is if I enter something wrong, I say, hey, that's an invalid entry. And I could ask them to, I could have another message, but then I ask write again, right? So the first thing, I do not have any objects yet. So I'm going to add, and it asks for an ID. I'll keep this simple, a name, and sales for the week. And then notice as soon as I have a record, I now have an ID number. Bubba made 10,000 for the week. Now I have more options, right? But I'm going to go ahead and add a couple here. And these IDs, I'm just making them up as I go along. And so I now have three records, ID 11, ID 22, ID 33. If I go to add one that exists, for example, 22, it tells me that the ID already exists, and then prints it out again and asks me, hey, you need to enter another one. Let me add one more. Okay, so do notice that it is sorting. Even as I write in new ones, it is sorted by the ID, which is an option. You can also try sorting by name if you like. ID is easier. So now I have 4 records, and remember I have up to 20. I won't go through and do all 20, but I have 4 records. So the first thing I'm going to do is change one. And I have to say which ID is it I want to change. So I'm going to go ahead and change Joe 22. And what I'm going to change, as I note in the assignment, is the sales. So right now Joe sold $2,222. So let's say we make it 4,000. And we output again, and we now have our 4 records. Now let's say the next week comes along and Kelly was on leave. So Kelly has no sales. So I'm going to do delete. It's going to ask me for my ID. Kelly is 24. And notice that is now gone for the week. It's no longer in the array display. I have 3 records, so I counted 3 instead of 4. So that count is important. We've talked about. So we've added, we've deleted, we've changed a record, and then when I go to quit, of course, everything's gone. We're not storing this anywhere, even though the exercise talks about being a database. So I quit. And it's gone. I run it again, of course, and there's no records because we were not storing those. So go through this as many times as you like, ask questions, and do work on the lab. This one is a bit of a challenge. There are, various methods, add, delete, change. I would probably make those separate methods. We also have a display. Maybe that's a method as well too. It's up to you how you want to break those down. And notice I am just checking for an A, a D, a C, or a Q, right? So there are ways to check that as well with many of our character methods, right? Okay.